Hello and welcome to the In-A-Pickle online training tutorials. In this video you will learn how to enter a party from your back office. So here we are on the landing page of our back office entitled My Virtual Office. You'll go over to the Parties tab and select either My Party Portal or Set Up a Party. Both of these tabs do exactly the same. So I'm just going to go into My Party Portal. From there, you can actually select from a drop-down list of any past hostesses that you may have. So considering this is the first party that I've ever entered into this test user account, there isn't one there. But when you start to enter multiple parties, you will be able to pull from this drop-down list and select the party that you're interested in viewing. So what we're going to do is click on this yellow tab that says New Party. And we're going to make a selection as to the party type. So there is a web party, which is an online party. There is an in-home party, but it would ship to the representative that did the party and her address, or it's an in-home party and it will ship to the hostess. So let's select Ships to Party Host. Now the next tab is also is actually a booking reference. So if by chance this party was booked from another party, I could go in and from the drop-down list I could pull the name of the original hostess that this party was booked from. Because again, this is the first party that is being entered under the test user account. There isn't any additional hostesses to select from. So now we're going to go to step 2. And it says I will choose an existing hostess or I will create a new hostess. Sometimes we have hostesses that actually have multiple parties or shows for us, and so in that case you can just go in and select from an existing hostess, but because this one is new, I'm going to select Create a New Hostess. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to enter the information. So I'm just going to enter my own information. You can see all of my information defaults there. So that is the first thing that I do is enter all of the hostesses information. So then I'm going to enter the actual date of the party. So let's say that I'm going to hold my party tonight at 7 p.m. So I select the time. The next thing is it says enter the address where this party will be held. Well, if it's a virtual party or an online party, no address is required. You can use the host's address, you can use the consultant's address, or you can enter a completely different address. Remember, this is where all of the orders are going to be shipped to. So in this instance, we're going to just use the host's address. Okay, the next thing is sending and personalizing an evite. So after I have all of my text in my evite, then I need to go down and hit Set Up My Party. But I want you to notice that in this line I have, if you have any questions, contact me, and to see all the fun products, please click on this link. This is blank right now and I'm going to need to go back in and fill in that link. But before I can do that, I need to actually set up my party. So let's go ahead and click this button. Set up my party, and the system will buffer, and it tells me that my party setup is complete. So one of the things that's interesting is this information right here. It tells you the number, your party number, who it's hosted by, when it is open, when the party is supposed to take place. Now the system will automatically close a party 30 days from the date that it is opened. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to that date. Hopefully most of us are getting our parties closed within 72 hours outside of the event. But sometimes we book them so far in advance, if we go in and set up a party too early, then what's going to happen is the system will automatically close 30 days out, and then you'll have to go submit a trouble ticket and they'll have to open the party back up. So just keep that information in mind. And then the last thing is there's a hostess portal link, and that is the link that actually goes to the hostess when she receives, or when you set up the party, she automatically receives an email with this link that directs her back to this page so she can enter her guests. So there's two things that we can do right now. We can return to our prior page, or we can add guests to this party. Well, if your hostess has provided you with a guest list, then you can go ahead and do that step for her. Most of the time, your hostess will actually go in and do that. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to return to prior page. So that is done. Now you can see here is my party number. It's an open party. It's 2507 and it's set for this date, and I'm the hostess. But I want to know what that party link is that I can send to all of my friends, so when they place an order online, I am the one that gets credit. So I do that by click here to edit party details. So the first thing that I want you to notice right here is there is a hostess URL, and again, that is the link that is automatically sent to the hostesses once you set up her party. And the second one is your party URL. So now that I know where the party URL link is located, I'm going to grab that link right here, and I'm going to copy it and then come down into the body of my email, and I'm going to paste it. So as you can see, the link comes up right here. I actually typically will do that so people can see where it's at right there. So when I'm done with that, I'm going to click Save Changes, and then I know that the invitation has been updated with the party link. So the next step is we're going to invite guests. So I'm going in and I'm going to do a guest quick add. So I'm just going to make some names up. So we've got Pepper Pickle, and she's our hostess, or actually she's the representative and I'm the hostess. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to invite Sweet Pickle. Now it's really important right here to make sure that you get your guest's current email. If you don't have their email address, then this is an important format to use, because what the computer or what the system is actually looking for is something@something.com. So if you don't have their email address, that's a great one to use. You can make one up, but it's very important that we do get that information if it's a real guest, because that's the way we can contact her. She can receive any updates or information from the company. Gender's other, nationality is not applicable, so I'm just going to add new guest. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to add another one, and I'm going to say her name is Relish Pickle. Again, same format on the email. I'm going to add a new guest, and I'm going to add Gherkin Pickle. So that will be great. We've got 3 guests in there. You can see them Sweet, you can see Relish, and you can see Gherkin. If you need to remove a guest, you can go ahead and do that by clicking on one of these buttons. But I'm going to return to the prior page, because the next thing I want to do is I want to start entering orders for my guests. So there's some important information that I want to point out right here. You can hit the edit button and update. It's got their email in case you need to update that. It's got the Evite information, but remember, my guests are automatically going to get an Evite because that's the way we set it up when we were entering the information on the Evite. You can see that it's a party invite. It's a pending invite because when they receive it, your guests can actually go in and say whether or not they're coming, and then this will switch. You can see the date that it's sent. If you receive a response from a guest, you will see that here. Right now there's no responses. All right, so if by chance you selected on the former page not to automatically send an Evite, what you would do at this point is you could go in and manually select which guests you'd like to send the Evite to, and then you can click Send Evite and it will do it. But again, I did that automatically because I think it's important that every guest that is entered into the system should receive an invitation. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to enter orders. So we will go down to step 3 and select the Enter Orders Now button. Okay, Now, there's two things that we can do from this point. If you have another guest that you'd like to add, you can add their information here and click on Add New Guest. But I don't have any additional guests to add right now. I just want to place an order for my first customer. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place an order for gherkin pickle. So I click on that tab. And you'll notice the first thing that happens is it will default with my information right here because I am the hostess. If it's going to change and not ship to the hostess, then you'd hit the change button and update all of the information with the guest's information. Now, here's the billing address for Gherkin Pickles credit card. And all of these people are going to pay by credit card today. If they were paying with cash or check, you can disregard this field. You don't have to, you actually don't have to enter it because, again, their order will be shipping to the hostess, so there's no reason to have their billing address in there. However, because we're going to be paying with credit card today, I'm going to put in the billing address of the credit card that I'm using. Okay, so again, this has already been selected for us. We don't have to worry about step 2 because it's a party catalog. So the next thing that's important is you can actually enter the SKU number of a particular product. Now the SKU product number list is available in our back office. So if you will tab down to this field right next to the little pair of binoculars and then type in a %sign and click on Find Products, you will see that it will bring up all of the products that we carry in our catalog. So this is a great tool to see everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to enter a brown pickle with a cocoa brown wristlet and our chevron and let's see, how about a chevron wristlet. So I'm going to take those two pickles, all 4 of those items, and I'm going to add them to their order. So what you'll see automatically is their standard shipping. That's all that you can select from right now. It will actually give you a product total, but we need to find out what their shipping and handling fees and sales tax are. So you can do one of two things. You can click on the Recalculate All Totals button now. So we need to determine what their sales tax and their shipping and handling fees are. So you can do that by clicking on the Recalculate All Totals button now, or you can go in and it will automatically update when you hit the payment type. So there's 3 different ones to select from. The hostess can pay for this order, and that's what you would select if the guest wrote the hostess a check or paid with cash, because she would take all of those funds that she received at her party, put them in her bank, and then when we contact her to close the party, she will give us her credit or debit card. So for sake of convenience right now, I'm just going to put that guest will pay for this order. So I'm going to click on that. And what you'll see is the system automatically updated with sales tax and what the shipping fee is for that amount. So the guest is going to pay for this order. So I'm going to select the type of payment. And the credit card information. I'll enter the CVV number, the cardholder's name, and the expiration date. When I've entered that information, I'll click Save Order. So it tells me an error occurred during the save process. Scroll up to see the list of errors. Well, I forgot to enter the customer's billing address. So that's one of the things, and I actually did that on purpose so you could see that there are some protections there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in and enter the billing address. And once I have that information in, then I can go back down. Now, one of the things is the system doesn't actually retain credit card information, and that really is kind of a nice little safety net. So you want to make sure that you go from step to step to step. And one of the ways that you can do that is by make sure that you go, okay, my shipping address is in, now my billing address is in. So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly add our credit card number. Add our CVV number, which is found on the back of all credit cards unless it's an American Express. And if it's an American Express, it's 4 digits found right above the last 4 digits of the card. And then, of course, our expiration information. So when we have all that information, we're going to click Save Order. So now what we need to notice is under Gherkin Pickle, we have now entered an order for them. So we're done with him. It tells us that my guest, Gherkin Pickle, is going to ship to me. The guest is paying for it, the retail amount, the wholesale amount, and the spread, and then how much the customer owes, and then what the status is. As far as independent representatives, commissions, a lot of people get confused between these retail and wholesale, and really you just need to disregard this wholesale column right here. Everything is based on retail, so just completely disregard this column and it will make life much easier on you. So the next thing that we're going to do is place another order. Same thing, we need to make sure that we enter the billing address, but this time Relish is going to pay the hostess with cash, and so I don't need to worry about filling that information in. So I'm going to come down here. Again, we can use our SKU list if we want, but here's another secret. Last time I taught you how to use the percentage. This time, if you just say, for instance, she just wants 1 dill pickle, I'm just going to type in dill, and all it will bring up are just our dill pickles, which makes it really convenient. So she wants 3 of the green, and she wants 2, let's say 1 of the dill paisley, but she just wants a cover on that one. So I'm going to add selected products to the order. So you can see, again, you can review it right here if you'd like. If you need to delete anything, you can do that. Again, here's our subtotal, but we're going to recalculate all the totals because the hostess is paying. So you can see her subtotal, and then her sales tax, and then her shipping, so her new total. The hostess is going to pay for this order because, again, she paid with cash. So I'm going to click on Save This Order. Again, it goes in and it shows you that Relish is having the hostess pay, what the retail amount is, what her total payment is, and then what the status is. So the last thing we need to do is go in and place one more order. For Sweet Pickle. So again, I've taught you how you can use a SKU number. I've taught you how you can use just a percentage key to pull up everything, and I've taught you how to use just a keyword. So let's go back and use the percentage. And this person wants to get a gherkin pickle. So they are up here, and she wants the gray gherkin with the green stitching, so I'm going to grab one of those. But she would also like to get the Savvy Pack and our Scout Pack, because those are great items that fit in the gherkin along with everything else that we carry. So I'm going to add that to the order. You can see what their total is. And I'm going to just say that the hostess again is going to pay for this order. So I'm going to recalculate my totals. And I'm going to save my order. So you can see that the hostess has earned her hostess rewards because the retail price, the retail sales of the party are $295.89, and we know that we need to hit $250 in retail sales in order for her to qualify. In fact, if you scroll down, you'll actually see an eligibility status that will tell you what she has actually earned. So we can see that she's earned $25 in free product, one half price item, and I know that she has earned an additional 10% off of her products because she has obtained that first level in hostess reward benefits of $250. Okay, so we are down to the next step, which is we need to enter our hostess payment. So I'm going to go ahead and go in and do that. So the billing address, I need to make sure that I have it correct. It's not Pickleville. Oops. Okay, so when I have that in my current billing address, and it will always default with the representative's information here. So I'm going to select the payment type again. I'm going to enter my card number. I'm going to enter my CVV, enter my billing name, my expiration, and my year. So when I have that done, I'm going to click Save and Return. But before I do that, I want to point out really quick what is going to be billed to the hostess's card. And what this is the 2 orders that she received at her party where her guests paid her with cash or checks directly. So Save and Return. Okay, so once that is all done, you can see under step 4 that it updates and tells us that we have our hostess information or hostess payment information in. So the next thing we need to do is step 5, which is called process the batch. And what this does is it will go out and run the credit cards and make sure that all the credit cards are approved. So let's go do that. Okay, so what we see here is that the status went to green and approved. So this is great. That means that all of these orders have been processed. The credit cards were all approved. Now on occasion, you will have a credit card that will come up and it may be declined, and it will give you a comment in this field right here. So on the rare occasion that that occurs, the first thing I will do is contact the guest, and I will just say, it looks like I had some trouble with your credit card. Can we please review those numbers again to make sure that I entered them correctly? Just a little word of advice. It's it's really not too professional to instantly say to the customer, I tried to run your card and it was declined. People don't like to hear that word declined. So if you phrase it that way, it doesn't make them defensive, and working together you can get that resolved. And all you would need to do is go in and click the edit button that would appear over here. If it was declined, update with their current or a new card information, and then process the batch again. What you need to understand is when you process the batch a second time, it won't go back and rerun the original cards that were approved and received the green flag status. It will just batch and rerun any card that wasn't originally approved. Okay, so everything has been processed. Everything went through all right. And we see that we have $25 in product for our hostess. So that's the next thing that we need to do. We need to make sure and update our hostess rewards. So we've done step 5, we've done step 6, and we are going to click the return. So if your hostess did contact you and indicate she had one last minute order, you can go in to enter orders now and just go through the steps that I had taught originally or previously in the video. If your hostess received any bookings from the party, you can add that now if you like. So let's just pretend that someone booked a party. So again, this is actually where you go in and you can set it up completely. So you can do that, or you can cancel and return to the prior page. It just depends on if you want to actually keep track and link parties, new booked parties, to a previous hostess. So I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to enter the host order now. Okay, so here we have all this information. And the first thing I'm going to do is I can see that my party retail volume is $295.89. So when I contact my hostess to close her party, I let her know that she has $25 in free product coming. So you come over and select the redeem button. And what this does is it will pull up everything that In a Pickle carries. So she has $25 to spend. And she decides that she wants to get the Dill Blue Floral and Chevron cover only. So I select one of those. So I know that she's going to owe $4.99 because she only has a credit of $25. So I'm going to go in and add that to the cart. Now this is something that's very important. Once you add something to the cart under this field, you can't go back in and edit it, so please choose wisely. So you can see right here, there's a $4.99 balance. There's 34 cents tax, and then $2.32 to ship that. So her outstanding balance right now is $7.65. And as you see, when you go back up, she has now redeemed her free item. So the next step is I'm going to redeem her half price item. And so she decides that she'd like to get a complete pickle because she's only going to pay $20 for that. So we're going to go ahead and put in one. Now she only has one half price item. You can see she's qualified for one. So she's made her selection. I'm going to go down. I'm going to add it to her cart. And then you're going to watch and see the system automatically just updated, and it shows that she now has not only her the balance owing on her original pickle that she selected, or covers that she selected, but also her new half price item. So the subtotal changed to $24.99, the total of these two. Tax changed, shipping stays the same because she hasn't quite hit that next level in shipping costs. So the last thing that we need to do is redeem her percentage discount. So remember, she gets 20 or 10% off, and you can see all these fields right here automatically reflect the discount. So let's say she wants to get a pocket knife. So I'm going to add that to the cart. And again, you can see her total changed. Okay, so you can see everything that she's purchased. You can see what her total is. And last but not least, we need to enter her payment. Now, I recognize that we have already entered her payment information because she also entered her credit card to pay for her guest orders. However, the system doesn't keep track of that payment. We're going to have to re-enter it. So the first thing that we need to do is make sure that we have the correct billing address. And since I'm not using my personal card and I'm using a corporate card, I need to change this information. So I've got the current billing address in, and now I'm going to go down, select the card type that it is. Again, it's a Visa card, and I'm going to enter all the information. I'm going to enter my CVV code again. I'm going to enter the cardholder's name, which typically will be your hostess, and the expiration. So when I have all that information in, I'm going to click on Submit this order. Okay, so the order's been processed, and you can see it's right down here. And the next step is step 6. We're ready to close our party. So we're going to click on Close this party. So a dialog box shows up in the middle, and it says, please confirm the closing of party number 2507. And it says you're about to close the selected party. Please check all indicators below to reveal any issues that may exist before you can close the party. Once you are ready, click the confirmation button to continue. So I know that all of my orders have been processed. There were no problems with credit cards. However, I didn't enter any bookings. Like I said, there's that field, and if you want, you can go in and enter your bookings so you can keep track of who's booked from who. But what if you had a party and you didn't get any additional bookings? You wouldn't have anything to enter. So I don't want you to panic when you see the red X. It's okay. You can still close the party without entering any additional bookings. It goes in and tells us that our host order's been entered, and it goes in and tells us that we're ready to close. And those are the things that are most important. So when we have received either green lights on all of these or green with the one exception of a red X under bookings, we are ready to close our party. And all we do is yes, close the party. The party is closed. It will come up and it will say the selected party is closed or beyond its close date. And with that, you are done with your party. So now let's say, for instance, you needed to go in and change the hostess's shipping address. So we're going to go up to Parties, and we're going to go into Host Manager. And you can see here's my party right here. I had 3 guests. I'm going to select this and click on Edit. And what if I wanted to have my party switched to a different address? I'm going to have it switched to this address. And so I've switched my address, and I'm going to click Save Changes. And then I know that I can go back in, and you can check that. You can define that information. So once that information has been updated, then I know that the party date or the party address has been changed. If you want to select and see any additional information, like for instance, I want to see the guest list, I can click on that, and it can tell me if I want to select my Sweet Pickle guest and see her order history. I can view the details of her order right there. So you can see what her total is. You can actually print it if she needs you to send her a copy of her invoice, so you can see exactly what she received. So with that, I think that I have covered everything when it comes to entering a party from start to finish. I hope the information was valuable and you can use it in your business.